Okay, uh, now let me show you on the NumWorks calculator how you can enter in data sets into tables so that you can use them in different functions on that calculator. So I'm going to take this data set and I'm going to be working with it. You'll notice that the data set does not appear to be in any order. The datums maybe were written down or recorded as they were observed. Okay. They're not sorted from smallest to largest or from largest to smallest at all. Okay. We're going to be using the calculator to do the sorting for us. And I'm going to show you how you can manipulate and work with the data itself within the calculator and do some kind of neat things. So let's go over to the NumWorks calculator here. Now there's two basic places that you can enter in a data set. You can enter it into the statistics app, and another is the regression app. So let me just quickly show you, kind of dive into these two to show you how they're organized just a little differently. So you'll notice that the columns here in the statistics app kind of come in pairs. You've got a list of unique datums on the left. So a column of unique datums on the left, they call these values. And then next to it is a column of frequencies. So that's the number of times that a unique datum occurred. Okay. And then, so these are kind of arranged in pairs. So you've got V1 and N1. And if we go to the right, we've got V2, N2. And we go to the right again, we have V3 and N3. So it only has three pairs of columns that are kind of grouped together. All right. That's the statistics app. Now, if we come out of this and we go to the regression app, this is another place where you can put a list of datums. We click OK. You'll see now it's grouped, but now it's X1, Y1, X2, Y2, X3, Y3. So you have six columns, but each pair of columns are being kind of grouped together as an X and a Y variable. Um, and this has more to do with doing scatter plots, graphing something on an X-axis and a Y-axis. Um, whereas the statistics app is you're just looking at one list of numbers. You're looking at one dimension. Okay. So this is where at first I'm going to enter data in. Okay. So yeah, we're in statistics app. Let me enter that data that we were just looking at. So yeah, you can just start clicking and typing in. So we've got a 1, we have an 11.5, then I've got a 6, and then I've got a 7.2, and then a 4. And because I have this is in a web browser, I can just use my keypad and my keyboard to make this go a little bit faster, like that. Okay, so I've entered each datum one for one. So as I saw a datum in the data set, I just entered it in. So, here I've got, this is saying that I've got a 2 and I've got one of those. Here's another 2 and I've got one of those. All right. Um, let's first work on sorting. Okay. So let's say I wanted to sort this list of numbers here. Let's see, is that what I want to do? Yeah. So what you can do is select the column heading and click OK. And then you can see it says sort by increasing values. So now I'm just going to hit OK again. And so now it's taken that list of data and it's put all the ones together and then the next highest number is a 2, and it's grouped those together, and then we got a 4, a 6, a 6.8, 7.2. You can see everything has been sorted from smallest to largest. Now, one of the things that we can do is we can copy values from one column to another. So let's say I wanted to take all of these values here in this V1 column and copy them over here to this V2 column. How do we do it? So part of the reason why they've called this column V1 and this column N1 is so that you can reference it really simply. So to do this, have V2 selected and click OK. And then the second option down is to fill with a formula. So click OK. And then we'll just make it empty. So click OK. So now at the bottom, kind of looks like, well, what have we done? Why did we do it? Is so that at the bottom it says V2 equals. So this column V2 or value 2 is going to be equal to the values in V1. So what we need to do is print the letter V and then put a number 1 next to it. And it'll reference this column, V1. So if you look at the keys on the calculator, you can see the letter V is on the division key, right? So in order to get this English V here, what we need to do is this needs to be a capital V. If I just hit the alpha key by itself, and then I hit the division symbol, it puts a lowercase v. Notice that this is lowercase and this is uppercase. Okay, this will not work. This will generate an error. And so I'll hit 1. And if I hit execute, right, data not suitable. So this doesn't mean anything to the calculator. Okay, so let me delete this. I need a capital V followed by a number 1. So to get a capital V, I have to hit Shift, then Alpha, and then division. Now it gives me a capital V, and then if I put a 1 next to it, the calculator will recognize this capital V and this number 1 as referencing this column. So we want V2 to be equal to V1. So if I hit execute or OK, you see it took all of these values and it just copied them over here. See that? All right, now let me kind of show you how this frequency column works. So you'll notice that a number 1 occurred 2 times. So instead of having 2 rows with a 1 in it, I could change the frequency that this datum occurred to 2. And now what I have to do is I have to take this row and I have to delete it. So if I hit this delete button here, there, it just deleted that row. Now how many 2's do I have? I've got 2 of them. So I'll change the frequency to a 2. And so I have to delete this one now. So I hit the back arrow key. Okay, I've got 1, 4, 1, 6, a 6.8, a 7.2, an 8, an 8.3, a 9. I've got 2 10s. So I'm going to change this 10 from occurring once. It occurred twice. And this one I have to delete. Okay, so this is what the frequency column is for, is to put down only unique datums. There's no duplicates here now, right? I have unique datums in this list, and then I can put the frequency of each unique datum as it occurred. And we can see that these two columns are equivalent to each other if we go into the Stats tab. So I'm going to give you a little bit of an advanced little training here. Right now we're in the Data tab, so we're entering in data. But if we scroll up, we can scroll up to these tabs. And if we move over to the Stats tab, okay, before I hit enter, notice that this column is in red and that one's in blue. Okay, so let me hit execute. So now we're looking at the statistics of the red V1N1 column, and off to the right here is the blue V2N2 column. And if we look at something like sample mean, right? So the sample mean is the average. So the average of that first list, which had all those non-unique datums in it, that was an average of 6.2. And if we come over and look at the sample mean, or the average of our second list, you can see it's the same number. So in the second list, we only had unique datums, but we put in values for the frequency. And you could see by doing that, we didn't change the actual value of each list. All right. All right, so I can get back by going back over to the data tab. All right, and here's our data. So again, this has every single datum that was in that data set. This one only has the unique datums followed by the frequencies of the number of times each unique datum occurred. Okay, so let's see, what would be the last thing? So a couple of things. So let's say we wanted to take this list and we wanted to, let's see here, what would be the best way to do it? Let's say we wanted to take these values and just multiply them by 3. All right, then what we'd do is select V3, click OK, put fill with a formula, click OK. Okay, we'll make the formula empty for right now. And so V3 is going to be equal to 3 times V2. So I'm just going to put 3 times, and to put a capital V, I need to use Shift, Alpha, and then the division key, so it has the letter V on it. And let's make it interesting. Let's put -1. Oh, I almost made a mistake. So we put 3 times V, but I need to put a V2. There we go. Now that's going to be right. So it's going to take the value in V2, multiply it by 3, and subtract 1. So let's click OK. There we go. Now notice though, it didn't bring the frequencies over. Okay. If you want to bring the frequencies over, then what we can do is we can just click OK, and then we can put fill with a formula, make it empty, and we'll just say N3 is equal to N2. Okay, so N3 is equal to Shift Alpha 8, because that's where the letter N is. It's on the 8 key, and then a 2. And there you go. All right. So that's how you can enter values into the statistics app. You can copy them from one column to another, and you can actually do some mathematics on the column itself. Okay, so let's leave this here, and let's now go to the regression app, which looks similar, but it's different. So this is where it's got X1, Y1. Now, this is going to be more for graphing on an X and a Y axis, okay? But I want to bring this one here to maybe show you how you can do some extra, you can use it for purposes it wasn't maybe originally intended. All right. So let's maybe take X1 here, and let's bring in those values from the other app, the statistics app, namely the column N2. So let me bring that in. So I'm going to come over here, Okay, I'm selecting X1. I'm going to click OK. I'm going to put fill with a formula, empty. And let's bring in those values from column N2. So I'm going to hit Shift, Alpha, N2. No, that's the number column. I don't want that. I want V2. I'm sorry. Let's do this again. So selecting X1, I'm going to put OK, fill with a formula. Okay, I don't want N2. I want Shift, Alpha, V2, like that. That's better. Okay, now let's take Y1 and let's fill that with the values in V3 from the statistics app. That's where I took this column, multiplied it by 3 and subtracted 1. So let me copy those values over. So here I've got Y1 selected, and I'm going to click OK, put fill with a formula. I'll just say empty, and I want this to be equal to V3. So Shift, Alpha, V3. There we go. Now, what if I wanted to find the average of these two numbers or the midpoint between these two? Well, you can see the midpoint between 1 and 2 would be 1.5. Okay. Um, so how do we calculate the average? Well, to calculate the average is you add these two numbers and then you divide by 2. So let's make this column X2. This will be the midpoint of every pair of numbers here. So I'm going to come over here to X2. I'm going to click OK. I'm going to fill it with a formula, empty. Okay, now I want column X2 to be X1 plus Y1 divided by 2. So I'm going to have to use parentheses to make sure everything in the numerator gets added first. So I'm going to put left parentheses, Shift, Alpha. Now I need X, so it has to be a capital X. So I've got X1 plus Shift, Alpha, and then 3, that'll print a Y. Y1, right parentheses, and now divided by 2. Okay, so again, I had to put these parentheses in to force the calculator to add these 2 in the numerator first before dividing by 2. That's the formula for average. That's the way it's done. Okay, so if I hit execute now, you can see it's filled all of X2 with the midpoints of all of these. So rather than you typing these in, doing 1 plus 2 divided by 2, 2 plus 5 divided by 2, 4 plus 11 divided by 2, instead of you doing that manually on your own, you can make the calculator give you all the midpoints. Okay. All right. So, you can use the regression app to kind of do some mathematical operations that maybe this wasn't really intended for. But this is a handy little tip here to know. Okay, I think that's all we need to do here now. Let me know if you have any questions.